Well, I think we're live. Welcome to the February 2026 Tractor Talk. See, we got one person here. I know this was kind of last minute, but we're here anyway. People showed up, doing okay so far. Lane is in the house. How we doing, Lane? I'm working on a kind of a special project here behind the scenes with my channel. So there's going to be something pretty neat coming out pretty soon. So I just am waiting for some final touches on it. Rodney's here, Ryan's here, Hyatt is here, Tim is here, Tom is here, Dave, shop time with Dave. Dave is in the house. Hopefully this didn't catch everybody off guard. I know it was kind of last minute, but we made it. Bryce is here. Sorry if the computer's shaky. I have it on my lap so I can kick my feet up a little bit. So what's going on? What is everybody what are we tractor talking about tonight? I have a question for everybody. Are there any clips that from any past videos I have that kind of pop into your mind as like a favorite clip that you saw happen on camera? Anything that jumps out at you? I'm looking for some final finishing touches for this kind of this special project I'm working on. So Little Tractor Shed is in the house. How we doing? I think got to get this onto my desktop here. So I'm doing two things at once here. Okay. I did get out and worked on the Hart Par 70 a little bit on Saturday. We have 50-degree temperatures here in Minnesota the last couple days, which is way out of season, but got a little bit done on it. But took a closer look at the Super A, and we're gonna have we're gonna have more time into that than what we wanted. But hey, that's part of it. What am I looking for? Just anything, any of your favorite clips that kind of jump into your head or favorite moments from the channel in general. It doesn't have to be just the last year, but any favorite moments that you have that you've seen captured on camera on the channel. Definitely when you had the 47M and Nala, if I'm correct, that is her name, almost knocked you out. Yeah, I can't remember what episode that was, so it'd have to be at least 2 years ago now because we've had Grandpa's M for 2 years. Rusty Wrench is here. How we doing? I'd have to try and figure out what episode that is. I remember what you're talking about, but I'd have to try and figure out what episode it is that she kind of bowled me over. All right, let's see here. See if I can find. Trying to find a specific clip in a video that I had to re-download. Super excited on the D, the first start and drive. Yeah, that was very that was quite the moment, I'll say that, because that thing is just that thing is just it tested my patience and my tractor part hunting and even my thinking outside the box, and I gotta give Squatch a lot of credit because if it wasn't for his channel, I wouldn't push myself to be better at what I'm doing, and I wouldn't be, I'm not trying to copy him at all, but I want to put out a quality product. Not only the videos, his videos are far superior to mine, but I want to be able to put out an actual mechanical product that I know for almost certain that I'm not going to have problems with because I know I did everything as good as I can do it. So I got to give a big credit to Squatch because I think he's kind of changed the whole realm of YouTube tractor restoration because his stuff is just next level. I mean, if you're not a member of his channel, you guys are really missing out. I mean, for $5 a month, you'll see all the behind the scenes stuff and you'll see all the fabrication work that he does behind the scenes. And for example, the video he just posted, I mean, it took him 5 days of machine work to accomplish what he did with one like 10 to 12-inch piece of shaft. Just amazing the dedication and the attention to detail that he takes. But yeah, he's definitely, and he's just an awesome dude. He's helped me a lot with my own projects, and it's always great catching up with him at shows and talking about stuff and kind of picking his brain to see how he would do something with the basic tools that I have, you know what I mean? So, I'm kind of taking his methods and molding them to fit the tools and the skills that I have. But the moment when I said found grandpa's tractor, that's a good one too, yeah. Unfortunately, the clips that I need are mainly just video. I don't need any audio, I just need video. I don't want to give too much away, but Squatch was definitely a mentor for me too. Yeah, he's just he's very good at what he does. But then again, now he's made YouTube his entire, I mean, that's his career right now, so he does have the time to dedicate to making and putting out those quality, not only quality videos, but quality um restoration pieces, I'll say, or pieces of equipment. So that's the biggest part about um YouTube that most people don't understand. I mean, for people that are in the chat right now, if you have your own channel, you understand that it takes a lot of work, more than just beyond pressing forward and doing the wrenching. Some of my early videos, I mean, I just let the camera run and then I posted it. So some of my videos are an hour and 30 minutes long, and nobody wants to sit for an hour and 30 minutes and watch that, like a 12-volt conversion on a Farm All H. I think that's like over an hour video I have on that. But nobody wants to sit and watch that, but at the same time, there are people that go to it and skip around in the video to see certain highlights of things that they need to see in order to reference their own project. So I love the video when you introduced me to my Case RC after it was delivered. That's a that's a good moment too, especially for you, your very first tractor. So upgraded my new Super C lights with rec ground like he did, and with his H, except I used brass screws for. Hey, that works. The hard grounds are way better, or direct grounds are way better, in my opinion, than the grounded housing to the grounded light bar to the grounded steering shaft support to the grounded transmission top cover. I mean, there's just too many areas that could be not, you know, not covered in rust and not grounding out properly. So a direct ground is always a sure bet. Taking up 3D printing and have made me and Hyatt some name plaques for tractors. Awesome. Sorry. Camera's jiggling because I keep hiccuping. I just finished dinner, so. Squatch, no, his full-time job is YouTube. He left the Ford garage to go and pursue YouTube full time. He's been doing that, I think, probably about 2 years now, maybe. Life definitely gets in the way, Tom. Hyatt, I'm one step ahead of you. I got some good videos of the Case 150 that I just literally, while I was messing around in the background here, pulled a clip out of one. So, estimate it's 4 hours of editing for each hour of raw footage. Yeah, you're probably right. I remember a clip where you had your SC parked next to the Case 150. That was at Rolog for the 2019 um, case feature. Need to get the head off my M and get the thing running. Dave, did you help out Jake Brunk with his reverse idler for his D? I think that's who it was. Ryan. Oh, that's right. All right. Thanks for stopping by. See if I can find that clip I was looking at here. Bring it back to. See, no, I can't. Can't do the editing that I was going to do because I need to be able to hear it in order to edit it the way I need to edit it. I can't tell you what it is, but oh, there's a spot there too. Trying to find the best angle, but I think I've already got it. So not sure what project you're working on, but you have some great clips of you and Raylan riding on tractors over the years. Yeah, I got to get a couple of those in there. Got the mag working on my M carburetor problem now. I guess I'm just living right. It's always something, Bryce. Pete's here. Me and Hyatt are planning to meet at the Tri-State Antique Power Association in Gray, Tennessee come April. Work, that three-letter word always gets in the way. Sure does. Yeah, man. I know all about the work. I just left the shop. I was at the carb shop until about 6 o'clock tonight. So been slowly bringing the small pieces to the shop from the M and cleaning those up and getting a little primer on them. So little pieces at a time makes the big stuff go a lot quicker. Heading to Florida Flywheelers next week. Probably won't video much, maybe. Stuff that only really catches my eyes. Yeah, that's one of the things at the shows now. It's like I can do walkarounds and hit and miss engines and all that, but unless I see something real interesting, it's kind of the same thing, just in a different place. I'm sure you'll have the car clean and sorted out in no time. Sure hope so. Those things don't take much. There's a couple passageways that you got to really pay attention to, but they're not too bad. There's so many tractors at Rusty Nuts Ranch. Which ones are yours? Oh, geez, I'd have to write them down. Let's try and number them off. We got Grandpa's M. We got the Case SC. We've got Ray's Super A. We have Ray's Cub. We have Ray's Narrow Tread F20. We have the Hart Par 70. That's my girlfriend's. Um, we have the John Deere 60. We have the 27D. We have the Suicide Awareness H. We have mine and Rudy's ZTU Moline. I know I'm missing at least one. That might be it. I'm going to say at least 10. And I don't want to let the cat out of the bag here, but there's going to be another one coming that's not mine, but there's going to be another one coming when the weather gets favorable. We don't want to haul this one with salty roads because the tractor that's going to be coming could be in a museum. It's that nice. To put it in perspective, the guy that sold it to the current owner, which is a channel member and subscriber, Mark, um, the guy that sold it to Mark takes his shoes off in order to get on the tractor. He only drives the tractor in his stocking feet. That's how nice this thing is. Clips of the first starts on each of my rebuilds. That's a good one. I do have the F20 clip on there, and well, it's not the first start of the John Deere, but the Model D, but it's one of the first. What are some short-term and long-term goals you have for your channel? Oh boy, that's a tough question to answer. I'm gonna say long term, I'd like to see it grow. Um, Short term, I'd like to. It's just my channel has such slow growth, and I know it's because I don't dedicate the amount of time that I should to both editing and posting consistently. But quite frankly, my channel is just it's just another hobby for me, and it's a way for me to put information out there and stuff that I enjoy doing, and being a good ambassador for the hobby. Um, I just don't have the time to take away from other things in my life right now, like work and Raylan, that make it worth it for me, if that makes sense. Because I'm not going to quit my job. I'm not leaving what I do full time. The benefits are too good. The health insurance and all the other benefits that come along with it are too good. I can't leave that. Um, but I would like to at least post more consistently. And right now, with a 6 going on 7-year old, and she's in dance and she's in soccer and all these other things, and it's tough for me to keep a regular schedule because I myself don't have a regular schedule. I rotate days off every 4 weeks with my primary job. On top of that, I leave my primary job, and if I'm not working an overtime shift, a 16-hour shift, then I go to the shop and I work until 6 or 7 p.m. at night, and I start my other job at 6:30 in the morning, so I have to be up at 5. By the time I'm home at night, 7:30 at night, working the side job, or if I'm working a double shift, I don't get home till about 10 after 11 p.m., and I gotta be up at 5 for work the next day, so doesn't leave me a whole lot of free time to make this channel grow quickly and be consistent. In my days off, I try to focus on, spending as much time with my daughter as I can, so this is just this is my way of connecting with everybody in the hobby that, you know, finds my stuff helpful and at least entertaining in my downfalls. You keep it real, showing how to work on old machines with a touch of personal life that keeps it family friendly. Yeah, and I try not to use profanity or anything like that on my channel because that's one of the coolest things about meeting people at shows is not that I meet a lot of people, but when I do meet people, it's usually their parent, like a parent that comes up to me with their kids and they say, "Oh, we love your channel because my kids can watch it because it's family friendly, you don't swear." And, you know, trust me, in my line of work and what I do outside of YouTube, there's plenty of profanity that comes out of my mouth. So I'm no saint, but I try to keep it at a minimum because I need to not only think about other people's lives and their children if I want them to watch and get into this hobby, but I have to keep myself in check having Raylan around. I can't just be flying off giving, expletives all the time. So my goal is similar. I hope to inspire younger folks to at least try to fix things and show some trick about fixing things that would otherwise be scrap. Absolutely. It's I'm on the same page with you. I just hope that, my channel inspires people that maybe aren't mechanically inclined or maybe they're a new learner at mechanical things, and I don't have the world's best tools. I would say 75% of the tools I have are either hand-me-downs, stuff I've found on the side of the road, like even when I was a kid on a bike, biking down the side of the road, I find a socket or a wrench, I'd pick it up and put it in my pocket. A lot of my tools in my toolbox came from that type of stuff. So I'm sorry, I can't deal with the computer bouncing all around. So I'm going to set it on the table. But you got to do the best you can with what you got, and try to get better things as you go, and learn along the way. But there's a million different ways to fix these things, and some people um some people do the bare minimum, and they'll take a tractor that's stuck and soak the engine for a week or two, and then they try hooking it up to another tractor or a truck or something and dragging it around. And while I definitely don't recommend that, there are tractors I've gotten running with very, very little effort, and they run. Not great, but they run. It's not going to be perfect right out of the gate, but that F20 that we picked up out of North Dakota for Raylan, that thing, I was blown away at how smooth it ran. The downside is we got to get rear wheels for it because one of them's rotted through. So I'd like to put a set of 36-inch round spokes on the rear, in which case we'd have to get different tires for the rear. And then the engine block it's a matching numbers block. Unfortunately, has an old crack repair behind the carburetor, and it's starting to just weep enough to where, like, after you run it for a while, it weeps enough to where the crack is just starting to get a little bit damp. So it's not completely sealed, but I could probably throw some stop leak in it and it might seal it up. I'm not a big fan of mechanic in a can, but if it works, why not? I mean, the tractor's 90 years old, so we're not farming with these things for the most part. Some of them we take to plow days, but for the most part, it's just stuff that we play with. So here's a clip I remember when you brought home the carcass of your John Deere D tractor, and then what it turned into when you finished the project. I got a couple of those clips on this project that I'm working on. So nothing wrong with the Harbor Freight tools. Absolutely not. Something that most people don't know about Harbor Freight tools, the Pittsburgh brand tools that they sell, the hand tools. If you break a Pittsburgh hand tool, you can bring it to Harbor Freight. Don't even need a receipt. They will replace it. No questions asked. Or at least that's how it's been every time I've gone there. Pittsburgh power tools, on the other hand, a little bit different, but they're hand tools. If you break a wrench or a ratchet or something, you bring it to Harbor Freight, you can grab another one right off the shelf and see you later, thank you, bye. You can't do that with Craftsman even. I I went round and round at a Sears one time. This was like 15 years ago. I went round and round at a Sears with a Craftsman ratcheting wrench. And I went to the counter, and the thing was like in pieces in my hand. And I said, I just need to exchange this, lifetime warranty. It's a Craftsman. Do you have a receipt? No, I got it as a gift when I was like 18 years old, for Christmas. Sorry, nothing we can do. I'm like, really? What? I mean, it's Craftsman, it's lifetime warranty. Nothing. Nope. So just finished that little model steam engine, starting a new long-term project. That's a bit of a secret for now. The Co-op E3 is more or less on hold till spring plow day. I know how that is. I'm finishing my Brussels sprouts. You need to bring the Co-op up for show season. We don't see them much. By the way, I was in Richmond a few weeks ago. I've not had that experience with Craftsman. Well, I did. And I believe in Harbor Freight. Craftsman is only left to name, not what it was. I'd have to agree. I'm pretty sure they got bought out by Cobalt or something like that. Isn't Lowe's or somebody selling Craftsman now? Had that problem with the Craftsman Vice. Broke a jaw, and they would only sell a replacement one for more than the whole new Vice. Holy cow. Yeah. My grandparents gave me tools growing up. Most all of mine are Craftsman. Unfortunately, the Sears around here closed right after I filled my toolbox. Yeah, I don't think there's any Sears left around here either. I don't even know if they're around at all. Pretty sure Lowe's or somebody owns Craftsman now. Jeff at Den of Tools did the history last year. I think, not to go along with Craftsman, but I think DeWalt, isn't that owned by Black & Decker too? Yeah. Dave, yeah. You got it. I mean, there's only so many tool manufacturers out there, you know. Sears and Mankato hired interesting characters. I brought them a broken double open end wrench left with 2 combination wrenches. The item number confused the manager. Ace Hardware carries Craftsman. Yeah, I've seen it in Ace, but I'm pretty sure that Lowe's is kind of the proprietor, so to speak. I'm sure Google would tell us real quick. Stanley and Black & Decker own the Craftsman brand. Purchased it from Sears Holdings in 2017 for $900 million. Sold mainly through Lowe's and Ace Hardware. So there you go. I think we kind of answered that before Google did. We're smarter than Google. I've started buying wrenches and such from John Deere. Yeah. I don't know, man. That Harbor Freight, they got really good prices on a lot of stuff, and every time I'm there, I always seem to need to buy about 5-gallon buckets. So Deere replaced them. Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing about John Deere is they have a lot of dealers. Lee is here. Probably keep this going till about 8:30, so about another 25 minutes. 8:30 Central Time. Tommy Two-Tone. Tecton is pretty good. I've got some of those. I don't think I've ever heard of Tecton. Redwood Falls is the closest Deere dealership left. 45 miles. Shoot, I've got two John Deere dealers within probably 10 to 15 minutes of me. I wish I had a clip of my Minneapolis ZTU plowing, but I think those are all on Connor and Hans's channels. We set up a toolbox at the museum shop and got Quinn sets from Harbor Freight. No skips for very good price. Good to know. I have 3 dealers within 20 minutes. Closest Harbor Freight is an hour and a half. I've got 2 Harbor Freights within 20 minutes. There used to be a hardware store right in town, just down the road from me, but man, they were proud of their stuff. They were expensive. Only set of wrenches I spent a lot of money on was a set of line wrenches from Snap-on. Snap-on's not cheap. Good stuff, but they're not cheap. Have you ever got a tractor and thought it ran really well and tore it completely down and wondered how it ran at all? Oh, yeah. Been busy. We are currently babbiting rod bearings for a 1630 hard par and an 1836 hard par. Are you going to leave the 60 patina when I get to it? So here's the plan with the 60. That thing, it's so far off my radar right now just because I have the Farmall M going on. I have the Hard Par 70 going on. I have Ray's Super A that I want to get running this summer. But took a closer look at that the other day when I was working on the Hard Par 70 and found a mouse nest inside the radiator. So gonna have to pull the radiator off most likely, vacuum it out, flush it out, and then make sure none of the mice got down inside the engine because this is an early Super A without a water pump. So unfortunately, they're going to go right from the radiator down into the cylinder head. So hopefully that wasn't the case, or that isn't the case. I have, excuse me, Mark's John Deere D that we're going to put a dual manifold kit on it, so dual exhaust stacks. But unfortunately, to do that, we have to pull off the hood, the radiator, the upper water pipe, the governor and fan shaft. All that stuff has to come off in order to change the manifold out. And when we put it all back together, then we got to figure out where we're going to relocate the generator to. So there's just a whole bunch more stuff on my plate than what really is on the surface of the channel, if that makes sense. So as far as the Model 60 goes, my plan is, so both the Farmall H that I have and the Model 60 John Deere came from the same owner. The Farmall H was the first tractor that owner had when he started his Halloween hayride back in the early to mid 90s. And the John Deere 60 was the last tractor to leave the hayride business when we got it. And they had, a couple dozen tractors at one point. So the owner of those two tractors the owner of those two tractors is a really good friend of mine's aunt, and he just had his first kid a couple years ago. So my plan is I want to get the 60 running with hopefully as little investment as possible and give that tractor to him because him and his wife and son just bought um, gosh, I want to say it's 20 or 40 acres of property about a half hour from me. And I would really like, because his son's name is Oliver. So, rightfully so, they should have an Oliver. But I think it'd be really cool if I could get this John Deere 60 running and just say, I want you guys to have this and I want you and your son to enjoy it and use it however you want to use it. If you want to sell it, then sell it and get an Oliver. But you guys, it's yours. And that's kind of my plan with that tractor. I don't really have any desire to keep the 60. I got it because it was $100, and if I didn't get it, it was going to go to the scrapyard. So that's why I got it, and it came from the same person that the H did. But my plan is fix that and get it running for as little investment as possible, and give it to them. Let's see. I didn't mind doing business with local hardware stores. Fleet Farm, Menards, and Runnings took care of them. Yeah, they did, unfortunately. Um, but for example, like this Ace Hardware, or it's not an Ace Hardware, it's a hardware store. But they had a Craftsman floor jack and jack stand set. I think like usually around Christmas time you can get that set for like $129 for the 3-ton floor jack and the 3-ton jack stands. It's like 129 bucks. Well, they wanted like $250 for the same exact set, and I'm like, you guys are out of your mind. Like, I don't know how you keep track of what needs to be done with them. Trust me, it's tough. I miss the old school local independent owned hardware stores we had when I was growing up. Yeah, they can be they can be a savior in a lot of ways, especially if it's a local, guy in your neighborhood that owns it. Because in a pinch, if they're closed on a Sunday, you can walk down to your neighbors and say, "Hey, I'm in a tough spot. Can you help me out? Can we go to your store real quick and grab this?" Or maybe he's got it in his garage. Best musical score on your videos is the Halloween music when you pulled the 5360 out of the woods. Yeah, I was just watching that video the other day. I thought that was kind of a neat little snippet. Hey Larry, I got a question for you. Do you guys have in your museum, do you have a Minneapolis 1730 by chance? I kind of think of those old hardware stores like the one on Home Improvement. They all just kind of hang out there, all the fellows, and just kind of BS. Those old store owners would always keep one of everything too. Oh yeah. That's the way this place is in town. I mean, it was just, you could hardly walk through the aisles. It was so packed full of stuff, but those are the good ones. The stuff, the places you find stuff that, nobody's needed this item for 25 years. It's been sitting on their shelf, but by God, they got it. Yeah, they knew where everything is at. Yeah, you're right. Let's see how much. Trying to figure out. Um, how much more time of clips I need. Probably about 10 seconds there. About 4 seconds there. And about 7 seconds there. 6 seconds. So I need to fill about 20 seconds of time with clips. I'm trying to limit the clips to at a maximum of about 5 seconds apiece. I'm doing pretty good, actually. Dave's taking it, calling it for the night. Yeah, we got a 1730 Type B. Runs, but after it warms up, it labors and gets tight. Not an oil issue. Think stuck ring or scale in the cooling system. Yeah, that could be. I've got a pre-type 1730 Minneapolis myself. Do you have a lead on anybody that it might have parts for them? Maybe you should drop me an email if you get a chance. I've got some questions for you. Have I ever seen a Farmall B with a double seat? I have. That would be great for you and Ray to ride around on. I would actually, so we have an M, an H, a Cub, and a Super A. So we have 4 of the 6 letter series tractors. I would love to get a BN, but you can't get a second seat on a BN because a BN has so the side opposite of the operator has an A axle housing on it to make the rear end really narrow. And I would like to get a BN because it's really narrow. So I know where you're tracking on this one, having the double seat so Ray can ride with me. But I'm one step ahead of you on that, but I can't talk about it yet because I don't know if it's for sure going to happen yet. Here, I'll put my email down in the chat. Oh, I had to sound out. I'm trying to sound out your username. Farmall International Cub Rebuild. Love the show. Just saying hey from Southwest Louisiana. Hey, man, thanks for stopping by. I'm glad you like the show. I know it's sometimes can be unpredictable, kind of like Tractor Talk tonight, but appreciate you stopping and I appreciate you watching. Hopefully like I say all the time, hopefully my videos show you at least what not to do. There's a picture in one of your videos that shows you and Raylan from behind walking hand in hand at a tractor show. That was at Rolog in, gosh, I was really sick then too. I had a really bad fever, but we went to the show anyways. It was so hot. It was like 100 and I think we got in the truck. It said 107 degrees or something like that when we left that day. Trying to stay away from pictures though, but that is one of my favorite pictures. That one, and then there's a picture of Raylan McKenna and I on Raylan's Cub, and McKenna's driving, and Raylan and I are standing on the drawbar, and we're kind of driving into the sunset, which is a pretty cool picture. Haven't seen a Farmall B with a bench seat, but I have seen a John Deere A with an M seat on it. Oh, that's pretty common. My 42A had a Monroe Comfort Ride seat on it. Got about 8 minutes, and we're gonna call it. A B, you can actually bolt on an entire second seat assembly on the other side. Everything is there for it, all the holes and everything. So I just got your email, Larry. I'll have to respond to you after a little bit here. Any cool facts about DC3s discovered? Discovered and bought a 1946 case DC3. My great grandpa bought new. So DC3 is just the number designation. The number 3 is a designation that it's a tricycle roll crop, is all that DC3 means. Because technically an SC, like a standard row crop SC, was an SC3. And then in late 1953 and into 1954, they came out with the SC4 and the DC4, which is adjustable rear tread width, but fixed wide front axle, a non-adjustable wide front. So it kind of blended both the standard D with the front axle and then a DC with the adjustable rear axle. What's the status of Rudy's Lindemann crawler? Well, since you asked, I was just over there about a week ago, and we've got the pistons and rods in it and shimmed correctly. The block is in it. The head is on. We're just finishing getting the governor and fan shaft all shimmed up and ready to go so we can bolt that on. The upper water pipe is on it. And then basically all we have to do to get it running is get the governor and fan shaft on, put the radiator, get that bolted in it. He's got a brand new core already. That's all done. So we just got to get the radiator bolted in and then do the carbon mag and rig up a test fuel tank, a little pup tank, and then we can test fire it and see how it runs. So, but we do have to put the whole left side of the crawler assembly together yet. So that's going to be an adventure in itself. Tommy, thanks for stopping by. Tuning in from central Minnesota. This warm weather is giving me tractor fever. Hoping to finish my CNF 20 this year. Both had been sitting for approximately 20 years and are now runners. That's awesome, Isaac. That's awesome. I need to find my original C. Serial number 61454. How is Rudy doing? He's doing well. He's doing well. Kenny ever read any of Roger Welch's books on working on old tractors, especially Allis Chalmers? Just a good read. I've got, I believe I've got his book, Everything I Know About Everything I Know About Women I Learned from Old Tractors, or something like that. I've always wanted to get his Busted Tractors and Rusty Knuckles book, but I haven't read any brand specific books. not too far from me is a 47 Farmall A for sale that's parade ready. They're asking 4,000. How does that compare to prices up there? That's a tough question to answer. It depends on what's done. You know, the old saying, anybody can put lipstick on a pig. You know, just because it's parade ready means it looks good. It might run pretty good, but what's the condition of the engine and the transmission? You know, that's the telltale sign. Run a compression check on it, drive it. If it's got a really bad whining in the rear end, chances are that it's either got bad gear wear or bad bearings causing the gears to wear in a goofy, they're not meshing perfectly. They're, crooked in their mesh, and that can cause a goofy wear pattern. And then when you go to fix it, it can cause more whining because now you're taking the goofy wear pattern that's wore into it and readjusting it so it meshes perfectly. So then it has to wear that bad wear pattern out of it. And it's one of those issues that is seldom fixed unless you have all new gears, all new bearings. But, I would say $4,000 if it's like a very well restored Farmall A is probably a fair price. It's expensive for a Farmall A just because I'm going to say it's a fair price because I know what it costs to do a full restoration. However, it's kind of one of those things. You know what I'm saying? Does it make sense? I mean, like we just did the cost analysis on the John Deere D, and I estimate I have roughly $21,000 into a tractor that I would be lucky to probably get $7,000 for if I tried to sell it. But so it's worth a third of what I have into it. And I didn't even paint it. If I painted it, I could probably get 10, but I'm not going to sell it. So unless, something major in my life changes, but never say never. I've had multiple people ask me if I'd want to sell it, and I said I wouldn't let go of it for a penny under $10,000. So, but I'm not interested in selling it either. Paid $3,000 for my Super A 4 years ago with a back blade and a Woods mower deck. Shoot, the Woods mower deck is worth $500 by itself if it's in good shape. Farmall A bring around 2,000 restored up here because of tobacco prices. They are a dime a dozen. I can get a cheap one here in Tennessee. There's a lot of Farmall A's around here too, and Super A's and 140s and 130s and 100s because we have a really large Hmong population here, and they really, I think they kind of like groups or families of Hmong, I think kind of group together and they'll buy farms and then they'll have their own like little farm plots, and they use, the Farmall A to 140 series to do their cultivating and their crop, their planting and stuff, because they're, especially down in southern Minnesota, they're everywhere down there. Never get out of one what it takes. Absolutely not. But as far as in your area, Hyatt, I would say just because I know what Mark has been looking at down in your area, and prices are higher down south for some reason. Down in Florida and that area, they're higher. So who knows? For your area, a restored Farmall A might be worth $4,000. But at the same time, you could probably buy an A up here for $1,500 to $2,000 in really, really nice shape and trailer it down and spend a few $100s in fuel to get it down to you. So there's that. It might not be parade ready, but what does parade ready mean to you? Does that mean a nice paint job, or does that mean a very well running and operating tractor that looks decent? that's kind of my question too, is you have to determine what you want. Me personally, the longer I'm in this hobby, the more I can appreciate a tractor that it might look like hell, but if it runs like a Swiss watch and there's no noises and it's got good power, that's worth just as much to me as a tractor that runs half decent, that has good paint on it. I'd rather have a perfectly sound mechanically tractor and no paint than to have one with really nice paint that doesn't run for crap. Outside? I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want. But it's 8:30 here, folks. Just a little bit past, so good running and a nice painted tractor. I don't know. Farmall A's are pretty basic, but like I said, if it's been fully rebuilt and he's got the paperwork to back it up, $4,000 probably not too bad, but considering what it costs to completely go through a tractor. Owen made it in just in time. Just barely made it. But I'm going to start saying the goodbyes here. They sure are handy, though. Yeah, they're great little tractors. I'm excited to get this Super Ray running because I'm pretty confident that Ray is going to like it, and she already likes it. But I'm pretty sure, like through her youth, that's going to be the tractor she kind of gravitates to. I'd rather have an original that runs really well than a painted one. Don't have to worry about scratches and all that. Not afraid to use it. Yeah, that's the biggest thing is like the Farmall H we did. I'm not afraid to use that thing because that's what we did it for, was to get it out there and people could see, hey, look at this really nice tractor, beautifully restored tractor, and it's out there in the field doing plow work. It's hooking up to the belt, at the shows doing, whatever, sawmill or the dyno or whatever, and we're not afraid to use it. It's going to be used. So same thing with the M, Grandpa's M. But all right. I can tell that it's time for me to go because my mouth is getting kind of dry and my throat's getting a little sore from talking so much. So, but I'm trying to stay hydrated here. But anyways, stay tuned for this. I'm not sure when I'll get it out. I'll do a Hart Par 70 update video here, hopefully this weekend, so I can kind of show you guys where we're at on that, and then I'll dive into the issue we found in the radiator on the Super Ray too. But anyways, we'll keep pecking away at the little pieces for Grandpa's Farmall M, and hopefully we can get it done this year, but no promises. And I've got some other stuff some other irons in the fire too that I've kind of been looking at. So we'll see what happens. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I know Owen just got here, and here we are saying our goodbyes. But hopefully everybody enjoyed it, and we all got to hang out for a little while and talk tractors. So a lot of stuff going on here at Rusty Nuts, but we'll make it happen. It'll get done. My Farmall M I got is a workhorse, but I plan to make it beautiful as well. Hey, it's a process. I say it every time somebody asks me about a project. I say, well, they're never truly done, because as soon as you think you're done with it, there's another curveball that gets thrown at you and you got to fix something else. So that's the way it goes. These things are 80, 90, 100 years old. My 27 John Deere D, that thing's going to be 100 years old next January. So it's pretty amazing. But that's why we do it. Keep history alive and keep the memories of our grandparents and great-grandparents alive. And, these machines are their voices now. These machines are the teachers of our ancestors' history. This is what they had to go through in order to just live a basic life. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, everybody. Y'all take care. And I think we're supposed to get some weather here the next few days. So great. It's that time of year. Take care, guys. We'll see you out there.